gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place a calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is a show my people. Billies our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling, WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling? It's not so we no matter even if you're at home. Just call in, WB. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is the show my people. Billies our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling, WB. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is the show my people. Billies our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Billies, yeah. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Voice of opinion and place your calling, WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling? It's not so we no matter even if you're at home. Just call in, WB. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies, wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Billies.
Welcome, this is WUB, Wake Up Billies Morning Vibes. It's a Thursday morning, the 5th day of June 2025, and we welcome you to the program this morning. My name is Nuri Muhammad. As you know, we go through certain steps. We start with a look at the weather. This morning we have Miss Catherine Kamabach that will give us an update. Then we'll give you the package prepared by our news center. and then we'll get into the conversation a little bit after 7 o'clock this morning. Ms. Kamabach?
Good morning, Belize. Moist and unstable conditions continue to linger. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for cloudy skies today with a few sunny breaks, and high temperatures today are expected to reach 87 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast to 95 inland and 82 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be cloudy with low temperatures of 82 along coastal areas to 74 over inland and 68 in the higher elevations. A few showers and isolated thunderstorms will continue to affect some coastal and inland areas during the morning hours. Shower activity will be generally isolated this afternoon. Then expect a few showers and thunderstorms to develop mostly over southern areas tonight and tomorrow morning. The winds will blow from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and the sea state will be moderate. A low tide will occur at 12:49 p.m., followed by a high at 6:42. Another low will occur at 17 minutes past midnight and a high at 6:20 a.m. The sun rose at 5:17 this morning and will set at 6:25. The moon comes up at 1:57 this afternoon and set at 1:53 tomorrow morning. The outlook for Friday and Friday night is for a few early morning and late night showers and thunderstorms to affect the south. Elsewhere, shower activity will be generally isolated. In the sargassum forecast, there continues to be a moderate to high risk that more sargassum could affect the country during the next few days. And in the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours over the North Atlantic Basin. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, CREM FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
In the wake of an early morning protest by teachers in the South and a teacher's vehicle being towed off Chetumal Street here in Belize City, the Belize Police Department indicated that it intends to charge the teachers who participated in the blockades. The department's spokesperson, ASP Stacy Smith, granted a Zoom interview and said that the police acted with great restraint, allowing the teachers much leeway as they participated in acts of civil disobedience. She emphasized that any action taken cannot be to the detriment of others' rights, in particular their right of movement.
What the department appreciates and the country must appreciate is that whilst teachers have their right to freedom of expression, which I understand to mean in this instance, them registering their discontent, them expressing their right cannot be done in such a way that infringes on the rights of others. A relevant right in this instance is the right to freedom of movement, which is impacted by the blockage of roads, which certainly prevents citizens from getting from one point to another or to organize their day, and it may also have a cascading effect on their personal plans and the provision of emergency services by the respective authorities.
Smith asked or called on the teachers to go back to expressing their discontent via lawful means.
We are in the process of reviewing provisions of the Criminal Code, the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, and the Control of Public Meetings and Public Procession Act, with a view to identifying the relevant offenses, which at this point appears to be obstructing the free flow of traffic, unlawful assembly, obstruction of the officers in the execution of their duties, and aggravated assault. So these provisions are being reviewed with a view to bring persons before the court where there is a belief that they have engaged in such conduct. Much leeway was given to the teachers that were a part of this morning's activity. They were actually afforded up to 2 hours to remove their vehicles and disperse. And it was only after this request was not met that actions were taken, and the actions that were taken were very measured. The commissioner had emphasized with the command of the department that it is important that we recognize that all actions that are taken are measured, respectful, and in alignment with effective and lawful management of civil dissent. So while the department recognizes the importance of democracy to a healthy nation, the actions that are taken in pursuant to democracy must be done within the confines of the law. The teachers have demonstrated on numerous occasions in the past, which have yielded success in their venture, that they are cognizant of the procedures that must be followed in relation to labor dispute resolution, and we ask that they realign themselves with those practices.
The secretary of the Stan Creek branch of the Belize National Teachers Union, Efesina Efunami, subsequently called out the powers that be over the threat to arrest teachers. First, she rejected the accusation that they protested in Dangriga for over 2 hours, and also stated that those motorists who absolutely wanted to get through did so by going on the side of the road.
Everything is on video. If they're going to waste tax dollars on this matter, then, like I said, shame on them to be wasting tax dollars and time on this when we are not criminals. We are simply workers fighting for our rights and fighting for their rights as well.
No move has been made yet to detain any of the teachers that side as far as you're aware?
Yes, nobody, as far as I know at this point, has been detained or charged with any criminal offense. In fact, the vehicle that was towed was also released this morning, and the teacher was able to report to work. Because even that, at 7 a.m., once we were able to remove the vehicles from the road, then traffic flowed as per normal.
It has been insinuated by the political directorate of the country that the Stan Creek branch is politically motivated in its actions. Ifunami told us that their mandate comes from the membership and that they are acting in line with the directives of their union. She questioned if the accusation is not born out of discrimination because they experience difficulties just like anyone else. In the wake of these sporadic demonstrations, which continued throughout the afternoon in the west and the north, and in Belize City, the national president of the Belize National Teachers Union, Nadia Martin Kalis, has explained the process they are following as they make several demands of the government. First, she reminded that by virtue of being a part of the joint union negotiating team, they have also to abide by the plan of action of that body. She explained that they are still in negotiation with the government, and as such, though teachers voted for a strike, it won't be instituted until the time comes for it. At this point, says Martin Kalis, they are awaiting a response from the government to their letter of May 31st.
You, the members of this union, have pressured your leadership to take action on your behalf because the check that you take home monthly is not enough. We have heard your cries, we have met, and you have solidified that mandate through a vote. The other part to that, members, is the fact that we are a union, so we negotiate. We are before government at this time. Government has presented us with a 3% salary adjustment. We went to you, the members, you voted no. All matters that has to do with money paid from the public purse is handled under the Joint Union Negotiating Team. That is PSU, BNTU, and APSSM. While the BNTU conducted its vote first, the PSU concluded theirs Friday morning with the tallying and everything, and we wrote government on Saturday. We are still negotiating, members. We are still negotiating. Now, today, Wednesday, government is supposed to respond to us. That response will determine the next step forward. Members, you voted for a 3-tier approach. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. Those are the BNTU plans. But the BNTU is a part of the joint unions. So when the joint unions met, they put together all the different strategies, and there's a joint plan of action. Within the joint plan of action, we have the BNTU major points as well. So when you're a part of a team, you're a part of the team. Some of you are complaining you didn't vote for that. You didn't vote. By nature of association, you're a part of the BNTU. The BNTU is a part of this body. These are some of the things that we get involved in. Now, you're calling for the strike. We have already given notice. As your leader, I will not call a strike until we have heard from government, because we're still negotiating. When you reach an impasse, that is when you institute the strike.
Martin Callis also called out the teachers, whom she insinuated are acting out of self-interest, and alluded to information about their actions being leaked. Public Service Minister Henry Usher, who sits on the government side opposite the joint unions negotiating team, was diplomatic when he discussed the teachers' demonstration yesterday morning. He insisted that more can be accomplished via negotiation. For his part, former Education Minister Francis Fonseca first pointed out that they have reached agreement on the majority of the union's demands. The striking point is the salary increase primarily, and then the unfreezing of increments.
As a government, we have always acknowledged and respected the right of the BNTU to advocate for better terms and conditions for their membership. That is their role, that is their mandate given to them by their membership. So we respect that, we acknowledge that. But we have put in place a structure, a mechanism that has been in place for some time for us to negotiate and discuss these issues. So on May 13th, we had a meeting between the Junt and government negotiating team. At that meeting, which I believe was very productive, a very positive, a very respectful meeting, the government made certain proposals to the Junt, the joint unions. The joint unions, I think we then followed that up with a 7-point letter in which we outlined the points of agreement or points of offer that we had made to them in that meeting. I should point out for the benefit of the public that we are agreed on 6 of the 7 points. We are in agreement on 6 of the 7 points. The 7th point has to do with the 8.5% salary increase demand from the teachers. And government, to be very clear, what government has said is that we are prepared to give you 8.5%, but we can't do it in one single year, one single fiscal year. We are prepared to do it over a 3-year period. So October of this year, we are prepared to give you 3%. And then we can sit down together and discuss how we will implement the remaining 5.5% over the next 2 years.
Fonseca also expressed his disappointment with the BNTU's road blockage and accused the BNTU of not acting in good faith. He says they stand to lose the public's support.
I'm really disappointed that, in my view, the BNTU has has really, I think, broken faith with those good faith discussions that we've been having, broken, I think, the trust of those discussions and negotiations. And I think, when they do that, they risk losing the support of reasonable people, the public, as well as, I think, losing credibility with this government and with future governments. We have always treated them with dignity, with respect. We have always, I can tell you, as the Minister of Education for the last 4.5 years, we have always worked with the BNTU to resolve any concerns they have, any issues that they raise. We have worked with them to try to address those concerns and issues in a respectful, meaningful way. Our team is prepared to meet, but we have to be satisfied that we're meeting in good faith. As I said, I'm very disappointed that we are both committed to this process, and at the same time, we have, and I'm not even sure if it's the entire BNTU, but elements of the BNTU, in my view, acting in bad faith and not respecting that process that is in place. So, today disrupting public traffic, I think that's, certainly something that I find very, very disappointing, very, very disappointing.
The National Trade Union Congress Senator Glenfield Dennison, during the budget debate last Friday, broke down the salary increase request per category of workers in the public service based on the 3% that the government is prepared to give versus the 8.5% that the workers are requesting.
Well, let me tell you some numbers I understand. $30.30, $39.96, $50.06, $75.42, $77.97, $93.46, $135.23. I know them there, I spend them there all the time. Those, Madam President, are a percentage of the salaries of a police recruit, an assistant marshal, a teacher with an associate's degree, a teacher with a bachelor's degree, a nurse with lots of years of experience, a lecturer at UB with a master's degree, and a professor at UB with a PhD. That is what is 3% of their annual salary. So when a teacher is asking for $50.06, or you offer them $50.06 and they tell you they're not enough, because they understand what $50.06 is, They might not understand 1.7 billion, but they know what they can buy. The teachers know what they can buy with $50, and they know what they can buy with $141.84. So when the teachers said I need 8.5 to stay alive, 141.84. A teacher with an associate's degree. That's what she's asking for. That's why she's protesting.
Senator Dennison cautioned the government that the disruptions of 2005 can be repeated, as he appealed for the government to fulfill the requests of the unions who are currently agitating for different demands to be met.
Madam President, we don't have a financial problem. We just know how to put the money up our need for put the money. We just know how to collect the money from where to collect the money from. And I say, we know how to fire the public officers there where we need to fire. Kind of run got a minister to hire them back. So that's what it's about. It's about dollars and cents, not CENTS. Because in my mind, I don't know how you can positively or successfully convince a teacher that they want too much when in their mind they don't do the arithmetic and they ask for $113.21. Teacher with the associates degree, $141.84. Teacher with the bachelor's, they ask for $213.70. Why you can't pay your mortgage? That's give the teachers what they want. They not ask for that. Each teacher they ask for and leave it. The numbers problem, that the government problem. Make we give UB what UB need. Make we give KHMH what KHMH need. And you see me? I'll stand up here and tell you no. 2005 can be repeated.
All right, that's our news package for this morning, the 5th day of June, 2025. There's more news coming up in the program which follows us. That would be around 12 o'clock after the morning stew. Then there's one at 3 o'clock, and then a full news broadcast at 5:15. All this on Creme Radio. Here on XTV, we bring you the full news broadcast at 6 o'clock this evening. It's now 2 minutes to 7 o'clock. We'll take a short break, come back, and begin our conversation for this morning. We do have guests coming in at the latter part of the program. Stay tuned.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
Babe, I'm going out to pay the water bill.
You don't need to go out. You could pay it from your phone. Look.
Babe, the credit card bill. I'll go pay it.
You can also pay it with your phone.
Babe?
Yes, love?
I need to go deposit the babysitter's pay.
You really want to go out, don't you? It's okay. I will make the transfer and you go play ball.
With Atlantic Bank Mobile, your personal banking experience is easier and more convenient. Bank your way with any of our digital channels and save time for what matters most.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited-time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards you'll actually want: extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks. All tailored to you. Because it's Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of appliances that just don't last?
Appliances that just can't keep up? It's time for a change. GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE. Paid for by homeowners who demand better appliances.
This is WUB, Wake Up Belize, Morning Vibes on a Thursday morning, the 5th day of June 2025. And it's your turn now. Our phone number is here, 280-5848, and you're welcome to weigh in. A number of things that's taking place. The unions are clearly warming up. The demands are being taken clearly to another level when you see the demonstrations that occurred yesterday and promise to be taking place again over the next couple of days. We call attention to the statement of Senator Dennison when he cautioned the government to be careful. The unions in every country really is like a sleeping giant because it is a part of our economy, the labor part of our economy. We cannot succeed unless there's a partnership with government, private sector, and labor. And when labor begins to agitate, it's not a quiet moment for any government. And Dennison called the attention of this government to 2005, if you could remember the controversy of 2005, where the unions just about closed down the country. Welcome, caller.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, this is Nicole McDonald. I am calling because yesterday I went to see the man I think wrote my boss near Bernard Wagner. As I was trained as the acting chief of security for Belize, and I was waiting for him.
Hello, caller, Miss McDonald. Hello, caller. I would prefer that you call off the air and discuss this matter. Please don't call on the air to discuss.
Sorry?
Please don't call on the air to discuss a personal matter. I would prefer that you call.
This is not personal, sir. This is war.
Yeah, but
when it comes
Hello?
to children,
Hello, Miss
we must
McDonald.
do everything in our power to protect children. I was there for hours waiting to see him. Unfortunately, because of what I've been
Miss McDonald. Hello, Miss McDonald. Please hear me. I'm not going to continue your call. You call every week on the same issue. We cannot solve your problem by you calling WUB in the morning. You have problems and issues which you have to deal with. You cannot solve those problems on the phone, on the air in the morning. We can't do anything about your concerns. You have been expressing your concerns for weeks now, Miss McDonald. And every single morning you call, we give you the time to deal with it, but it is repeating itself, and it's not solving the problem. So we're not going to entertain your call if your call is about the same subject that you've been talking on for quite some time. Please understand. Yeah, welcome, caller.
Mr. Nuri, this is...
All right, so apparently she's going to continue and insist on this, and Ms. McDonald's been doing this now for weeks, and we cannot solve your problem by your taking advantage of the privilege that we give you here to voice your concern. It's not your right. It's not your right. It's your privilege that you're being given by the station to express. But we've said to you several times, Ms. McDonald, that you cannot solve your problem by simply calling the station each time and voicing your concern. Please understand that, all right? All right. All right. So this is a serious concern, as Senator Dennison brought up, that the government itself is saying that its back is against the wall, that financially it cannot increase the wage bill at this time, and is offering the unions, the teachers, a 3% in October, and then they will next year consider increasing it further. And the unions are saying no. Yeah, welcome, caller.
Why are you protecting Kevin Kero?
Oh my goodness. This is a problem now. If we're going to be using the phone to try to harass the host, please, we need this woman to express some level of maturity. I mean, this is a person who has been giving a lot of battery and a lot of issues, and we cannot solve your problem. Don't bring creme into your Hanasi. We are not a part of your problem. We host a program where we allow people to call and to express their concern, but it cannot be a situation where you call every single day on exactly the same matter. And then you become a harassment, which is unfair to us. It's unfair to all the people who listen to us in the morning. All right? Good. Let's try again. Yes, caller?
Mr. Nuri.
Sure. Okay. So if you're going to continue to harass us, then, brother, we'll just have to hold the phone off the line until this lady decides that she's going to give us a break. Anyway, let us not allow one person to come in and to throw our program off this morning. Our phone number here, unfortunately, we only have one line working, and if this individual insists on dominating our line, then that's not something we can do anything about at this particular time. Anyway, and so if we have any other callers calling in, it's difficult for another caller to call in if this individual is going to insist that she's going to tie up the phone lines. Anyway, we were also talking about the importance of the statement of and the warning, actually, of Senator Dennison, who was basically warning the government that you need to take this matter of the unions very seriously. And then we heard weighed in from the government side, Cordell, Henry Usher, as well as Francis Fonseca, all on the government side of negotiations, saying we, government, are not in a position that we can honor the demands that the unions are bringing forward. But the unions themselves are presenting their side of the story, saying, yes, you can, because we have access to the same financial records that you have. And so our calculation is that you can afford to raise the salary, pay the increments, and allow this matter to pass. And that if it doesn't, the way in which the unions are heating up now is a reminder of what happened in 2005, when the issue was about corruption, the issue was about NHI, not NHI, but Universal. The issue was about the commission that took place at the Social Security, as well as other issues that were affecting people. Let's see if this lady has allowed us to. Yes, caller, welcome. All right. All right. So, yeah, that is the first item on the agenda that we wanted to share with you this morning. And we really wanted to have a conversation, but we're being disrupted by a serial caller that insists that I don't care what uno say. I want to use the phone lines of CREM to call in and call in and call in until you hear my concern. But we've heard your concern, sister. We've heard your concern. It's not that we deny your concern. We've heard your concern. Yes, good. Welcome, caller.
Morning, brother.
Welcome, brother. It's so good.
Remember?
It's good to hear another voice, man.
Yes. During the consultation of the Constitution, if you remember clearly, I recommend that we have with regards to competition of the telephone service, that because right now as I understand it, BTL is making a strong bid to acquire smart and other services, cable services. Remember I said that we should have an antitrust law forbidding more than one company, a monopoly, go back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Where they could block you from certain services and charge you a premium for other services.
Right.
Now I understand BTL is making a bid for telecommunication to become a monopoly again.
Right.
This should never happen in Belize. We should always have competition, and one group that has interest in one company should never have interest in another company. Mm-hmm. Competition is vital in small countries like Belize. Mm-hmm. So we should never allow PSU, left it to PSU to make that decision. We should have a law forbidding antitrust in Belize. Thank you. Have a pleasant day.
All right, good. You're making an extremely important point, caller, in terms of the power of a monopoly to manipulate the market because they're the only source of providing that particular product. And so monopolies are usually something that governments try to avoid. They can't help it in certain services like water. It's very difficult for you to have 2 or 3 sources of providing water or electricity. And in some cases, that is the way it was in the United States maybe 100 years ago when they had only one telephone company called, I believe it was Graham Bell or Bell Company or something like that. And then they started to break down the telephone companies so that you have this accumulation of companies that you see providing service in the United States today. We had one company, as the caller is saying, and that is the Belize Telephone Company that evolved into a BTL, etc., and then Smart came along. Welcome, caller. Yeah, welcome, caller.
Yeah, can I talk to you?
Yeah, man, you're up on the talk show. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. You're listening to your phone, to your monitor. Hello.
Morning.
Go ahead, sir. Make your point.
Yeah, I like the teacher they move. I like the teachers they move.
My brother, you have to listen in your phone because if you listen in the monitor, we have a delay. So just talk in the phone and don't.
If the teachers they never stand up, to
Money when the Prime Minister me want to give the CEO to them again.
Yes, sir.
The Prime Minister me going to and give the CEO them money. And the CEO then done to get one big pay already. And all the increments and everything where the CEO then get money for even then gas. They get money for everything when they want. And what the Prime Minister is doing is wrong because the teachers they have to take money out of them pay and do everything when they want in one classroom. My daughter is a teacher and they have to do everything when they want in one classroom out of them pay. And still yet the Prime Minister want to raise CEO them pay. Why want to raise CEO them pay? Because all of them are colleagues together. If the teachers they never stand up, the Prime Minister may just do what he wants in this country and give people what done to get big money already in favor with them and everything alright. So somebody have to stand up against the Prime Minister because the poor people in the field and the richer ones they still they get more money and more money on top of more money. He choose everybody when he wants to get rich and they'll continue to get rich if the teachers they not stand up. I like the teachers they move.
We hear you, bro. We hear you, brother. You can't listen to yourself, man. All right. Our number here is 280-5848. It's a growing concern that the government must listen to. You can't deny, you can't talk down the union. You can't insult the union. You can't agitate the union. Because if you could talk about that three-leg executive, private sector, and labor, you cannot operate unless you have a cooperative labor. And the way you get a cooperative labor is that old-time thing, an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. And if the teachers are telling you that their expenses are far beyond what they are receiving and that they have to go into their private finance to do what they are supposed to do and be paid for it, then you got a problem. You have an issue there. And even though the credibility of the government is strong when it comes out and says, yes, we're having good negotiation and yes, we're trying to meet an agreement that is amicable to everybody, etc. If you have dissatisfaction among the union and they're not accepting your position, you still got problems. And you got massive problems because the union is not a constituency that you play with. No government plays with the union because the union will go into the street and lock your country down. And using the police exacerbates the situation. Look at what happened on the Belcan Bridge a few years ago with the students coming out to support the union. Welcome caller. Welcome caller. Welcome caller. All right, our number here is 280-5848. Yeah, so it is a cautionary thing that every government needs to go through. It is not a UDP or a PUP thing. It is he who is in charge and he who wears the crown has the headache to try to fix the problem. George Price said some years ago, and people used to quote it, if you can't take the heat, then stay out of the kitchen. If you ask for leadership and you are provided leadership not just once, but the second time around, it's because the expectation that people have is that you will solve the problems that are in front of you. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, welcome, my brother. That was my fault, sir. I'm sorry. I knocked you off just now by error. 280-5848. Please call back, brother. Yeah. So it becomes important. And it seems now that this is just the initial stages where the union is even saying we're going to strike, but we're going to strike under conditions. We're going to have that protest that they had last week, then the demonstrations that we saw yesterday. And then they're saying that, remember, we have a strike mandate that eventually will become a full-blown strike. So this is a creeping process that there is room for a lot of negotiation to prevent it going to the point of an all-out strike. Welcome again, caller.
Good morning.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, my fault just now, brother. Thank you very much for calling back.
You got phone problem this morning?
No problem. It's just we had a caller that was insisting on calling and you know, so, but no problem with the phone.
All right, Brother Nuri, the former Minister of Education, no, I listened to him on the news. He's disappointed in the teachers. How can you be disappointed in somebody where they fight for their just cause, my brother? You wasn't disappointed when I raised the CEO and pay. You're not disappointed with the $28.5 million when they signed for nobody know. Look like the pen just get up, meet the paper and sign. Nobody know how that signed. You're not disappointed in a lot of corruption through. You listen to the news all over, you know. The ill-fated even the credit union, they don't solve the problem. You cannot vex with somebody when they stand up for the just cause. You have to rally with that person and say the best solution how we could solve the problem. By being disappointed, not help the problem. And telling people are disappointed, that like you tell them, we the talk already, I don't want to go out there, go do stupidness. We disappointed, you know, that no work, so. That no work, so we have to sit down at the table. We expect 8.5%. You can't come with 3. You have to come with about 5 or 6 to start with. That's how you negotiate. You don't negotiate less than half of where you want. That's stupidity. That's just simply if you go to you take 3% and then down the line that's where I reach 8.5. You can't work, so you have to go with 5 to 6%. Then after that we can negotiate how we are getting it. That is exactly what the union they have to do. We have to compromise because the country have to continue, but you have to come to the table with solution. Not going to take with a simpleton. You can raise your pay 15%, 18.5%, and no problem. Not one minister will get up and say, man, this wrong. Things hard with everybody. At this time, we can't do that. It will look bad that we the raise we pay, and then people out there, the technique, and we know it. And we not try to look into their people problem.
But you know that they can't show no disappointment, right? I mean...
collective agreement, that's what they go.
Collective responsibility.
I can't be no minister, I can't be no politics, because I know I stand up with that.
Well, then that mean you have to stay out of that career there, but you got some man there who could go in there and be two-faced. They could show this face here and go on next face when they're in a cabinet. So, I mean, that's, we understand that. The bottom line is what you're saying, is that we cannot act as though we don't want to listen to what the unions then they say. And the other unions are watching. You see the KHMH, which is not saying they're directly doing this because of the teachers and the public service union, but they themselves are making their demands. So over a period of time, you get this accumulative effect of a rolling ball that's picking up mass as it goes down. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So the government at this juncture have to sit down and find a compromise. If you don't find a compromise and this thing begins to grow and grow and grow, it'll fester and you can't control it. So, I mean, it's only common sense that you decide exactly how you're going to solve this problem immediately and not allow it to fester. I think that's the way everybody is said. And you're making a strong suggestion that instead of just coming with 3%, So if you could come up with a higher percentage, see if you could keep the unions around the negotiating table rather than then getting up and saying, all right, this is not the work, we're going to the streets. And that is the worst thing for a government, even though the government has gotten such a large mandate in the last election. It is not wise that you allow grumbling to overtake your government at such an early stage. It does not work good for a government. So if this government is thinking about 3 terms, it better be very smart how it handles this second term, because it can unravel. The circumstances that we see going on in the world today is that a small thing can unravel and cause a very small issue to become overwhelming, and then it becomes unmanageable. So it's smart if the government stays around the negotiating table with the teachers, with the public service union, with all those demands that are being met, and keep the table alive, and nobody gets up from the table and say, this is not the work. Stay at the table and see how they can work it out. That's the only advice.
Brother Nuri,
Yeah,
don't
man.
cut your cross.
Yeah, man.
The union has seen the high corruption that where they happen.
Yes,
They
man.
just work family member, they get rich. Your body, your man with the knock elbow with the knock shoulder, no, they get rich. All them big contract people when they ain't got no security firm
Yeah.
set up, they get paid off. I know they don't know work. The union they say all of this. So when you to show the union, you to tell them you don't got no money, all kind of corruption they happen. But only for you people ever in your circles they get rich. The politician, their family member, you see their face, they get fat, then they get juicy. Well, and then they hustle and they live their lavish lifestyle, and you want to tell we that nobody no money there for no, but one money only there for we. That's the way you to tell we. No money there for no take no lick. We the real, so we they live good. It's night and day when it comes to the brother in the country Africa there, Nuri. I think getting he cut their pay.
Yeah.
All the people at the parliament, he cut their pay and raised the public officers their pay.
He got a powerful army behind him.
How a man think in a life.
Yeah.
So how them brother think.
Yeah.
Them brothers they're like criminals you're to deal with, boss. But you say they suffering on the street, and instead of you say me could try ease it, we'll put more pressure on there and ease we by raising for we pay.
Yeah.
All right, you take care, brother.
All right, brother. Good. Thank you for the call. All right. It's 28 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Let's stop for 2 Cent Scam, which is hosted by Brick City and is brought to you by Fort Point Security.
You're watching WUB and this is XTV, and this is part 3 of the teachers sit out. All right, so we go back in the street and ask people in 2 cents how they feel about the actions that the teachers are taking daily. Let's go find out the people in 2 cents. All right, big respect to our sponsors, 4 Point Security. Question, dear miss, why you do the teachers go on national shutdown?
What you say?
Why you do the teachers go on national shutdown? What are you 2 cents?
No, I ain't support.
All right. Where you school open back?
Leave me alone.
All right. Just go for national shutdown.
I want support them. Because no work, no pay, no work.
All right.
Can't say
nothing.
Me can't say nothing. Me can't say nothing, my brother.
All right.
Make them do what they have to do.
All right. What you gonna do?
Can't do nothing else.
For national shutdown.
Then if you get any money.
All right. But you?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
Babe, I'm going out to pay the water bill.
You don't need to go out. You could pay it from your phone. Look.
Babe, the credit card bill. I'll go pay it.
You can also pay it with your phone.
Babe,
Yes, love?
I need to go deposit the baby series pay.
You really want to go out, don't you? It's okay. I will make the transfer and you go play ball.
With Atlantic Bank Mobile, your personal banking experience is easier and more convenient. Bank your way with any of our digital channels and save time for what matters most.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Imagine getting rewards for your spending. Smart prepaid customers countrywide, it's time to level up with Smart Gains. Smart Gains are exclusive, limited time offers sent straight to your phone. We're talking irresistible rewards you'll actually want: extra credit, bonus data, and exclusive perks, all tailored to you. Because it's Smart, we've always got your back. Don't miss out on rewards made just for you. Smart Gains, Smart Savings, Smart You. Smart, bringing people together.
Tired of appliances that just don't last? Appliances that just can't keep up? It's time for a change. GE Appliances delivers reliability, innovation, and performance you can trust. The decision is easy. Don't settle for less. Choose quality, choose reliability, choose GE. Paid for by homeowners who demand better appliances.
still open at 280-5848, and you're welcome to call and to weigh in your own concerns. We're talking about the unions, and we're talking about the issues that we were facing a little bit earlier. We would appreciate, we have an individual who is calling here, and even during our break, she's calling and she's going off. And that trying to call, but if this individual continues to insist on blocking our lines, then there's not much that we can do in regards to that. All right. Anyway, as I said, we do have a guest that will be coming in a little bit later on, and so we'll have our conversation on the basis of that. We were talking earlier about the confrontation that is taking place with the unions, and we're trying to do the very best we can to, this person is calling on a regular basis. She's calling Mose, she called when Yaya is here, she's calling when I'm here, and she's insisting that she has some legal case with government, and she cannot deal with her legal case on this line. This is not what we do here. It's not what we do. And she's insisting on calling names. We cannot afford for you to use our forum to call names, which will then cause us to become a part of a lawsuit if you're defaming this person and using our station to defame him or her. Then we become a part of that case. So we have to protect our own legal status here by not allowing anybody to just call on the phone and use the phone line to disparage and call out other people's name and disrespect them and cause them to feel as though they're being maligned, and therefore they have a legal case against that person that is maligning them. But if that person is using our lines and we're allowing that person to go ahead and say the things that they are saying that is not true, then we become a part of that lawsuit. That is so easy to understand. So we don't have any problem when someone calls here and want to express themselves. But if you call and you begin to call names and you begin to try to work out your own personal issue with that individual by name, we can't afford you to do that. Now, if you call and you're talking about the traffic department, you're talking about the bus, you're talking about a particular a company out there that may have done something that is wrong, then we can deal with that. We can use this forum as a way of bringing attention to that injustice. But we cannot afford to use our forum here as a means by which you could haul us into your hanasi with an individual. Now you're naming names. When we're off the line just now, you call and you're naming names of individuals. We can't let you do that on the air. And so you need to appreciate that. Now this is the same individual that has a legal case already in court because she's being sued by the former commissioner of police because she has pulled his name into some disparaging remark, and so he's taking her to court. So she's in the court system now dealing with that issue. And, so I hate to take up this much of your time where this does not really concern you at all, but it's pulling us into her situation, and that's why we are trying to explain it so that you could understand why we keep getting her off the line, because that we cannot afford to deal with here at WUB. Anyway, we'll take our next break, and then when we come back, hopefully our guest is here. But if not, we have a number of things on our list that we are going to discuss this morning. Stay tuned.
Earn B-Bucks and get a chance to win a $10,000 homecation with Benny's. Quality and savings.
Hey, Belizean students! Ready to unlock your future? The Social Security Board is now accepting applications for its 2025 scholarship program. Whether you're aiming for vocational technical, high school, or an associate degree, this is your chance. To qualify, you must be a born Belizean accepted to a school in Belize, entering high school, trade school, or college for the first time, demonstrate financial need and academic potential. Don't wait! Learn more and apply online today at socialsecurity.org.bz. Deadline is Friday, June 27, 2025. Remember, only online applications are accepted. Unlock new opportunities for success with a scholarship from Social Security.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm sorry. I help you out right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
lines are open, 2805848. Let's tell you about an announcement that we received yesterday from the National Assembly. And we've been receiving a serial caller this morning that continues to call and want to put her legal business on the line. We cannot afford to do that, and hence the reason why whenever she calls, we see her number, and so we're not allowing that individual to come on the air. When someone else calls and we see that it's not her, then we'll bring that person on. But that individual who keeps calling, and she's been calling since 6:30 this morning, we cannot allow her to come on. She was on yesterday with Mo. She's been on a constant basis, and so that's what we're trying to avoid. So for those of you who are just tuning in and want to know what the drama is, that's the drama that we're dealing with here. Anyway, we received this announcement about the meeting that is to take place in the next, let's see this here. There's a National Assembly sent out a public notice that the Constitutional Affairs Committee will be meeting on Wednesday of next week, the 11th, in the committee room of the National Assembly. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the Belize Constitutional 13th Amendment Bill and also the Bill 2025, the Law Revision and Law Reform Bill 2025, the Civil Registry and Vital Statistic Bill 2025, and the National Assembly Powers, Privileges, and Immunities Bill 2025. So these are subjects that will be discussed at this committee meeting next week, Wednesday. But the big part of that meeting is to discuss the proposed 13th Amendment Bill. The 13th Amendment Bill is looking at changing the equation of how issues like SOEs are managed. Let's see if this is a call. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, welcome.
Most of my privilege to get to call on the air, but you guys need to get some kind of screen that caller.
Yeah.
Quite some callers that have been calling and you guys just turn them down.
Indeed, sir. You're absolutely right, and we've been doing that off air, trying to see a way in which we could block that particular number.
Sir, you guys must have screened that caller, you know.
Yeah.
But thanks for accepting my call, and I just wanted to contribute to the teachers' scenario. You know, as much as I support the teachers, but I do not support them when they're acting like they are not educators and they are uneducated.
I see.
As the way they carrying these type of roadblocks, it is unlawful, it is disrespectful to the general public that needs to access the road. And they will get that, they won't get that support from the public when they're doing these type of nonsense. And to the caller, I am not saying directly to the senior caller that called, but God forbid that one of his families need to access the hospital or any emergency center, and the teachers are blocking an intersection, a very, very serious intersection. So the public need to know how far the teachers need to go. I have already mentioned quite some times that the teachers are paying for the union to protest for them, not for get the unions to take advantage of the teachers and take the teachers out to get hurt while they are protesting and they are interacting with meals. It doesn't matter if it's the police force, the BDF force, the Coast Guard, general public that wants to access the road. Those females are out in harm's way. They could get serious hurt. They are females. Let them go back and think before they act.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Yeah. You said that the unions should not have the teachers come out of the classroom in order to protest, but the union should be able to maintain a protest. Then who in the union would do the protest if not the teachers?
Which is the body that is getting paid just to represent the teachers? Who are getting every month salary from the teachers' salaries.
I see.
So why would you use the teachers? If I am paying a security guard to watch my property, why should I be the one watching the property instead of the security guard?
But isn't it when you're a member of a union and the union has a disagreement, the administration of the union will tell their union members, we're not getting anywhere, we need to protest, and then there is a protest. I don't know that you could do a protest.
There are many ways to do the protest, but
well, then help me, help me.
Off the streets,
but help us.
Need emergency service.
Yes, man, I completely agree with you that is something that you need to look at, because if you in our ambulance and you try and make it there and there's a blockage, you are right. That's a very serious thing. Why I ask you is then what do you say that they should do as a form of protest? What's the form that they should take?
They could do the regular protest like they used to do in the previous government, the past government, because they know that this government that is in power, it look like they are not peaceful, they are not crazy-headed. But remember the protest that took place in Orange Walk with the sugar farmers when one got killed and all of those. We don't need to go to that again anymore, but I know we are human. That's why we pay educators to educate us so that we don't have to resort to get killed.
Yeah. You know, brother, what we're saying is that we would want a protest to be a peaceful one. We should sit around the negotiating table and we should come. Yes, that is the
union knows.
But that's an ideal situation, my brother. Sometimes these peaceful talks, these peaceful negotiations, they break down, and so the union reserves the right. This is not Nuri speaking. This is the history of unions. The unions reserve the right to say that if we can't solve the problem, and this don't make any difference if it's a UDP or PUP or a private negotiation with a private company, when the negotiation breaks down, there are alternatives. And one of the alternatives of the unions is what they call industrial action. If we can't get it that way,
all I am saying is, brother Nuri, not in the manner that they are doing it now. They could get people hurt.
I see.
Not in that manner. I understand that there are industrial actions, that there could be a protest, but not that type of protest.
Yeah.
Not that specific type. That's all I'm pointing out. I'm not against the teachers. I'm against the action that they're taking at this point in time.
Okay, because I thought I heard you say that they should leave the teachers in the classroom and that the administration should be the one to demonstrate or whatever. But I don't agree with that. I don't think that is how it happens. When you saw the unions come out, and they're the strongest union in the country, and whenever they've come out, whether it was, I remember when they were at BTL Park, and that was when Farber was the Minister of Education, and you had over 1,000 teachers that were out there. They were not in the classroom, they were out at BTL Park. And the same thing goes during...
That's a diplomatic way of protesting, brother.
Yeah, but my point is that the teachers would not be in the classroom, my brother. They would be out demonstrating the fact that they are not getting anywhere with their negotiation with the government.
That's safe and a peaceful demonstration. And isn't that the proper way than going and blocking the wrong number?
Well, certainly,
By the way, you asked me a question, please forgive me to cross you, but can I ask you one?
Sure, man.
How do you think, or how do you think the public look at that teacher inside that vehicle in that tow truck?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that Francis Fonseca said and the unions need to take it very seriously, and you're echoing it this morning, is that as much as people support the union, if you don't demonstrate properly, you could turn everything against the union cause. I understand what you're saying. And you are pointing out the push and shove yesterday and the teacher inside of the vehicle, etc., etc. It can make the public get upset. Another one of the things that make the public get upset whenever teachers are protesting is parents get upset over the fact that their children are not being in the classroom. There's a lot of balancing act that a teachers union has to do when it's trying to protest, especially for salaries and these other things. It needs to be very careful how it's doing it. But I thought that the union, instead of going on strike, but they are giving 3 or 4 different phases, and they're increasing their phases towards an all-out strike. They're not reached an all-out strike yet. These are just actions towards showing that they're serious about their position. That's what's going on right now.
Well, I support them, but I don't support them to act in the manner that they're acting when they're putting themselves to get hurt. And they are our educators, so honestly, I wouldn't want an educator to get hurt.
Indeed.
Children in school.
Indeed.
And if you are acting in that way, well, when you get hurt, I'm sure the public will turn their back on you because you acted in an illegal and a very unsafe manner.
Yeah. Carla, you're making an extremely strong point and you're sticking to your point, and I respect you for that, sir.
Thank you, man.
All right. Good, man.
Next time.
Yeah, man. 280-5848. Part of what happens with these shows in the mornings is that people have issues, people want to ventilate these issues. They're not always willing to call and to engage us in these conversations, but people are listening. And this caller is showing that his concern is that, yes, I agree with you, union, but the way you do it, I don't agree with it. And he has a right to say that. Welcome, caller.
Good morning, Nuri.
Yeah, good morning.
Nuri, the caller a while ago highlighted one thing to me, that ignorance is bliss. The history of this country, we were built on resistance. It's sad that people don't even know how better working conditions were gained by people like Soberanis and those that came before us. It is really sad. Power gives up nothing. And when we put on the news and we see blockage for days, sometimes for weeks in our neighboring countries, we salute these people. We pick them up for standing up for justice, for righteousness, for better governance. We applaud the Mexicans, we applaud the Guatemalans, we applaud the Nicaraguans. And when Belizeans decide to stand up for the same, we find all kind of excuse and nonsense, in my view, as to why we should not be a people who will follow in the steps of those who came before us, ensure that we have one country to live in and that better working conditions and that trade unionism laws were introduced. People need to educate and inform themselves about their history and their forever be house slaves. And I don't want to sound disrespectful because it is not my intention. But I get really passionate when I see my people, they subject themselves to this sheepish mentality. What he should have said in his commentary as well is, just like the Minister of Foreign Affairs said that he is disappointed. Well, sir, I am disappointed in you. Because when I look at Plan Belize 1.0, I see an administration that pledged to make people's lives better. I see an administration that said they would have dealt with this corrupt public service and this politicized public service by restoring independence in the commission, independence in the heads of department, independence in the CEOs through permanent secretaries. I see an administration who pledged to address, who pledged in Belize 1.0 that introducing good governance measures and ensuring that people are held accountable will not cost Belize anything. It is in there. I read it. I know it like the back of my palm. So I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in you, sir, because the former Minister of State, under your watch, entered into contracts with one small league contractor and made sure those contracts were under $50,000 so that they don't have to go to the contractor general. And that same league contractor opened multiple companies to be able to exploit the Belizean people. I disappointed in you because you got me the head minister. I disappointed in you because you have said nothing where expenses over $10,000 needs the approval of the Treasury Department. But look at the expenses that all ministries are being facilitating under 10,000 so they could do it in-house. So the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister has said, we're in negotiations, folks, make we control ourselves because comments being uttered by both sides not help the situation. And so I have not necessarily comment specifically on the negotiations to try aid the negotiations to move forward. But when I watch these hypocrites step forward and talk about disappointment, man, it get me really riled up. It get me really riled up. And the brother needs to know that many before us lost their lives fighting for us and fighting for our free beliefs. And neither one of them son of the soil. And I'm ready for whatever because I have children and I value my children and my children should never be subjected to this kind of governance. And so if it means then that a tow truck have to run over me or run over anything I stand for, I stand for my principles. My man raised one principle youth. And if it means that I have to lose my life for standing up for better for my country, then that won't happen, brother. But do not come and tell us what we should and should not be doing when all that we're doing is fighting for a better country. For your picnic, for your grand picnic, what are you doing? You're staying in your house criticizing whether than stepping out for the teachers so they could stay in the classroom and educate your picnic. You prefer your picnic to stay home while the teachers be out there. And sorry for my emotions this morning, Nuri, but you know how it is, man.
I understand,
There's a serious business with the deal with you. Yeah. And I don't want nobody to downplay the sacrifice and the efforts of the teachers.
I understand, brother. And I feel your passion. Absolutely. I feel your passion. And sometimes when things get heated like this, it's sometimes hard for reason to be there because we are all emotional. And I can't stop you with that, Brother Flowers. I mean, you represent a powerful union. Can you tell us what the next step will be for the PSU? Are the PSU going to do what the BNTU is doing?
Well, Nuri, like I said, we are exercising our rights and we will always, to the best of our ability, act in a responsible manner to not to endanger life and property. But there will come a time that we will have to say to this government or any future government that enough is enough. The PSU is currently awaiting the correspondence that the Honorable Henry Charles Usher said was supposed to be issued yesterday or today. I have not received that correspondence to say to my membership, this is the response from government. I can say to you that if that response is not acceptable, the Public Service Union will move immediately to declare a trade dispute and to commence the disruption of services tomorrow, Friday. It will be done in stages. We know that we have to declare a 21 days notice for our essential services personnel to get involved. But my brother, the best thing this administration could do, that come to the table with concrete measures for how we want to start hold each other accountable. Because we cannot continue to sacrifice public officers because of their corruption. Because of their corruption. They know we hire, brother. They know we run the system, brother. They know we corrupt the system, brother. Yet we have to fix it every single time. And now we the tech lick. Now we the tech lick for your mismanagement, for your bad governance. You they use our money irresponsible, brother. And even when we point it out to you, refuse to fix your wicked and evil ways. Only a handful under the wind, brother. And me that know I'm beggar. So no, put no $50 in my hand and think that you know keep me happy. Or give me no $100 and tell me no give no trouble. Because I don't get trouble. I'm a productive citizen. So we await that correspondence today from the government, I believe. And immediately the council will convene and let the membership know what that response looks like.
Yeah, well, I hope they're listening, Dean, and I'm sure they are. And, the strength is in unity. We don't want to broke up the thing, but at the same time we want to be taken seriously. And
that's right.
If the government and you've got some highly intelligent people there, Cordell Hyde, Francis Fonseca, Henry Usher. These are intelligent individuals, and if they can't see the handwriting on the wall and allow things to unravel, then who could you blame? Who could you blame? So we do hope that that letter today, and you will announce the contents of that letter. I guess that's the same letter that Ms. Callis said that they're waiting for likewise, right?
Yes, that is the letter that we are all awaiting for.
All right, and
so I just want to end off by saying the matter being faced by the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital workers and the matter of pension. This is the same injustice that this very administration inflicted on people at Baja. And I want to reach out to the members at Baja. To date, I still have not received any proof or evidence that Baja is being audited annually and that Baja can commence a pension plan for public officers, because at the end of the day, they are providing one of the greatest public service and they have been disenfranchised from a pension as well. The same thing goes for statutory bodies like SIB. The library services, those people at the library services felt they were public officers only to now find out that they were statutorized and they're run by a board. They don't have a pension.
Wow. So
the government needs to understand this matter of pension now and stop the KHMH. They need to look at all these statutory boards which they have statutorized. Just disenfranchising these people. And they need to fix it, Nuri. And I will say to those members again, I can act and speak on your behalf. You will have to shut it down if you don't want the justice you deserve, and that is rightfully yours. So I needed to put that out there, that the KHMH issue, not only limited to KHMH, the brother then just gone statutorize the company's registry, then just gone statutorize the ship registry. So coming into these boards, into these statutory bodies will not have a pension, Nuri. So this thing's serious, man.
Yeah.
And that then Bali want to make I respect them when then they make people's lives worse, the people that I represent, when they make the people's lives worse, brother. So you can't get vexed with me when I recognize that and I call out on it. Take responsibility and do the right thing. And like you said, if they kitchen to hot phone, brother, then you don't know what to do. But anyway, Nuri, right. I will end there because the raindrop was supposed to cool right now.
Yeah. We don't. It's not a time for cooling though. Too much humidity. Thanks very much for calling, my brother. Take care. All right. 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's a hot program, so we'll take another break and we'll be back.
The risk of violence, the fear of violence, the reality of violence towards LGBT persons in Kenya is across the board, across the entire country.
We've had members who had been victims of hate crimes. Well, we would term it as hate crimes because they were attacked because of their gender identity.
There was violence happening to me, pulling my hair down on the floor, and started to beat me. It's okay for them to hurt me or beat me up because the way I am. I didn't report anything to the police, but I keep it inside.
I never told my family about the levels of violence that I experienced. Years and years, I was being mocked, insulted, threatened with harm for being myself.
Welcome to Atlantic Online. In this step-by-step video, we will show you how to unlock your user. Click Unlock User on the personal login page. Enter your username, then click Send OTP. You will receive a 6-digit one-time password, OTP, via email and SMS. The OTP is valid for 5 minutes. Do not share this OTP with anyone. Enter the OTP, then click Unlock. If you did not receive the OTP, click Resend OTP. And if you still do not receive the OTP, please visit your nearest branch. Your account has now been unlocked successfully, and you can now log in. For more step-by-step videos, view our Atlantic Online playlist on YouTube to learn how to perform your banking transactions. Bank your way with any of our digital channels and save time for what matters most.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
trying to deal with this thing.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just calling to probably I did not understand myself, but I know I stick to one point, which was the safety of the teachers or the safety of the public when I made that call earlier.
Yeah.
Right? And you agree that I stick to that point. I did not gather any other subject to add to my conversation.
Right.
So I do not know why Brother Dean would say I am ignorant.
Well, no, I don't think the reference was to you particular.
Well, he said that the caller. He said the caller.
Well, we've had several calls this morning. I don't think Dean would be offensive to a caller. Just
okay, I just listen because I've never made. I am a self-productive citizen.
Yes,
I am an entrepreneur. I'm not singing for a supper here. I do not sing for no party.
Right. I didn't sense that. I think your concern was the children and the safety of people outside.
And the concern of the children.
Yeah.
And the poor people that make lunch with their last penny for those children to take to school. And most of the time when there is an interruption in classes, that food will definitely 50% to 75, 60% go to waste. And that's hard earning money for poor people.
Yeah.
That's all the point I'm making, my brother. But in a case that they want to point out my call, I know life is difficult for the blind. I know life is difficult for the blind, Brother Nuri, so thanks.
All right then, sir. Good. Ooh, we are kind of antsy today. Wow. I don't think that Dean Flowers was pointing you out, caller. I think he had a long list of things that he was talking about, and he didn't call here specifically to cause you to feel the way you are feeling. No, that was not his point. His point wasn't you at all. His point was a long issue of what they are dealing with at the negotiating table with government. And for you to simply say what you said, what you were in your right to say, that's not the issue. The issue is the joint unions now are in a deep negotiation with the government, threatening to strike, threatening industrial action against the government, right? Welcome, caller.
Yes, Nuri, Allah's Akbar, all day, every day.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Indeed.
as an electrical guy, I'm in the electrical union in Las Vegas and everything, Mr. Caller.
Are you in a union?
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir, I'm in the electrical.
The negotiating team of your union is negotiating for a particular agreement to be signed, and that agreement is not signed, and your union decide to do industrial action, are you, as a member of your union, asked to come out and to demonstrate with your union?
Of course. That's why.
That's exactly what we're saying. If the teachers
bi-weekly, you know, that's part of the
teachers are going to ask teachers to leave the classroom and to come outside and to protest. That's what happened in the past.
Hey, that's what happens. Protest is like revolution by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Once I get that text from my president, we're going to that location and we're going to take 24-hour shifts when we protest in an organized way and everything. I'm not going to let Mr. Dean Flowers or Nadia Callis, they call her Khalees, but I know she's a real person, but Callis. I'm not going to put Mr. Brandon Flowers by himself. That's our job. That's where we pay our fees and everything. If you don't come, we call you a punk or a wimp if you don't show up to come protest and everything. So, Mr. Caller, please give Mr. Flowers and Nadia a chance to go protest and everything because they can't do it by themselves. You know, as far as the teachers and everything, that 3% is nothing. You know, 1/3 of my friends are teachers in Dangriga, right? 1/3. If you give them 3%, average of a person who makes $2,000 to $2,500 a month as a teacher, depending on your skills and everything, you're only getting about $60 to $120 raise per month. That's nothing. Those teachers use that same money for the school supplies in their classrooms. Or, like the caller said about feeding, you know, they feed kids that don't go home on breaks because they know they ain't got food to go home to. These teachers feed kids and use their money for materials. At my school, I'm an instructor. I teach electrical. I could go to my supply room anytime and stock to capacity. You know, Belize government don't have no type of supply rooms for those teachers in there. Those schools look old-fashioned and run-down and everything. You look all beat up and everything. So what they're doing a good job as protesting. There's no other way or by any means necessary, like Malcolm X. Sometimes it takes blood and tears and shit in order to get your point across. But that 3% is $60 to $100 a month. And it ain't gonna cut it for them because that's nothing. That can't pay a bill. They used to have school supplies, Mr. Nuri Muhammad.
Yeah.
You know, these teachers sometimes travel 50 miles a day. You know, they should be getting prevailing wage when they go from Danriga to Mango Creek to go teach. They get up 5 o'clock in the morning to go catch the bus to be at school at 5. You know, they get home at 6 o'clock in the evening. They're tired. They can't even satisfy them, man. They want to go to bed.
Yeah,
They got to go do some extra homework, investing.
Yeah, I'm preparing for school the next morning. That's right. No, brother, the lament.
Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying that look, one of the lowest paid group in the world are teachers.
Yeah.
And that's an unfortunate situation, even there where you are in the United States. When you look at what teachers do, they get one of the lowest pay in the United States. So this problem of paying our teachers and respecting our teachers is a situation here in Belize and also in other areas. I believe it's Grenada or St. Lucia right now that the teachers are also standing up and protesting with the government that you are not paying us enough. What we are asking for is not $1 million. We're just asking enough to be able to make it in this career as an educator. You know? So, and I don't think there's anybody that would argue against, and I don't get a sense that government, they argue against the teachers' demand. I think what government is trying to do is to say that we can't afford to give you what you ask for, but we can give you part of what we ask for. And that's negotiation. That will happen. So either the government will bend or the unions will give them some more space. That's really what we're looking at. And if it does not work itself out, brother, there will be protests in the street. I was here in 2005. I was here when these units.
Here's an extra $60 in your pocket for the month, or $100 in your pocket for the month. That's $600 for the year. That is not going nowhere. You know what? The electrical, we don't have problem with the union here, electrical, because we run this thing. Without the electrical unit in Nevada, there's no power. So they have to bow down to us. But the teachers down there, they teach 7 to 9 subjects. We're getting paid that amount of money. You know, math, history, learning potentials, blah, 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 blah. I teach one subject. And the minimum I would make is $65,000 US a year, teaching one subject. $65,000 a year. I'm saying I'm not making that now, but that's the minimum for one subject I teach. Those teachers teach 6 to 9 subjects per day. You know what I'm doing? But anyway, I ain't got much to say in my school.
All right.
I go back in class. Allah's Akbar.
Yes, sir, indeed. Allah's Akbar. All right, yeah. So it is a challenge that the teachers are facing. And it seems to repeat itself constantly. Our numbers here, 280-5848. You're welcome to call us. As I said before the break, this meeting that is to take place at the committee room in Belmopan next week, Wednesday, to look at the proposed 13th Amendment Bill, which is attempting to do a number of things in crime management. One of them is to rename the SOE and to make it a different animal, so to speak. Welcome, caller.
Hey, good morning, Nuri. Interesting show.
Welcome. Yes, a very lot of moving parts this morning, brother.
Man, there sure is a lot. But, you know, as I listen to some of the callers, man, I keep thinking how politically divided we are in Belize.
Yeah.
That even for something as simple as standing up for what is right for the teachers, we still take it along political lines. I've been to many countries, Jamaica, through Mexico, and I have stood on the road in Mexico for 17 hours when some towns would decide to block the road, petitioning for their rights. No police, no army, nobody stops them until the politicians come and give them what they're demanding, which is right. But here in Belize, we seem to think that, you know, everything must be done peacefully. I learned something very young in life. There's no birth without pain and blood. You will not achieve anything unless you make sacrifices. And I think it's high time for us to begin to look at the way politicians treat Belizeans, where every politician, or 99% of the politicians who enter government comes out millionaires. And still Belizeans suffer day by day by day by day. And we still think that it's okay to just keep on doing it peacefully. Come election time, you get a $50, $100, and peacefully walk away. Don't do anything dangerous. You know, it's time for us to stand up for what is right. And I applaud the teachers, I applaud the unions. It's time for us as Belizeans to get the message through to these politicians, even if it's going to take some sacrifices.
I hear you. All right. Thank you very much, brother. All right. Our number's here, 280-5848, 280-5848. Welcome, caller.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, Brother Nuri.
Wa alaikum assalam, Dawood.
Brother Nuri, for the caller that made mention earlier about what the union should do from what they should not do, and in terms of about putting the teachers in harm's way. Now, the union are the teachers, and the teachers are the union. You have male and female. Maybe he is insinuating that you should only put males out there. No, everybody got to get out and struggle for the cause. And I would like to say to the government that you need to listen to the union, because remember, you don't want to mess with the union. You don't want to threaten the union. Like the other day, one of the officers made mention that they could be arrested. Hey, that is one of the worst things to do. You don't threaten the union. In Belize, democracy have afford us free speech, the free association that we could do, and we could speak our mind. So, and there are certain stages in terms of industrial action that could be taken if the government do not want to heed the call of the union. Now, not to bash anyone, but it appears that Sister Garcia, do have a problem once it comes to the national purse. The national purse belongs to the people and government of Belize, not no individual. So when you're going to mess with the national purse, like if it is your own, then there's a problem. That sister had a problem with our money at the Social Security. He was placed in the Prime Minister's office, the Prime Minister being the Minister of Finance. And again, there is financial irregularity. If you have a problem with the people of Belize's money, then you should retire. The Prime Minister should place somebody else in that capacity that have integrity, that will respect the money that belongs to the people of Belize. No politician cannot take the people of Belize's money and operate those monies like if it is theirs. If you had a problem at the Social Security, you was placed in a much higher position, and you still have a problem, that means you need become office and somebody else that have the capability placed there to safeguard the money of the people of Belize. Now, for the union, you have to stay the course. Brother Flores made mention earlier that $50 and $100 will not cut it. If the ministers could get a raise, if the CEO could get a raise, I sincerely think that the teachers and the other union members and the public service personnel should get a raise too, because time hard out job. Time hard out job. What's good for the goose, good for Uganda. And again, government, listen to the union. Remember Lex Walesa, solidarity movement in Acts, Poland. And by the way, Brother Nuri, Lex Walesa is still around. And remember, he moved up from head of the trade union to becoming president of Poland.
Right.
So do not mess with the union. Listen to the union. They are speaking for the people of Belize. We got to sit down and dialogue, and at the end of the day, let everybody make it be a win-win for the people of Belize.
And you know, brother, and you know, brother, you bring in an important point there where you talk about Lech Walesa. But really, when you look at the entire Caribbean, all politics of the Caribbean evolved out of the union movement. Here in Belize, it was the GWU, it was the Christian Workers Union, it was those unions that were agitating 70-odd years ago that created the dynamics for our politics here, including the UNIA. We have not been able to make the connection of people like Antonio Sabaranes, who was also a part of the UNIA. People like Mr. George Bedson, these individuals here agitated because of the UNIA back in 1920s that came into Belize. The political parties evolved later on, okay, because they were, even though George Price was not necessarily a unionist and Mr. Golson was not necessarily a unionist, they became a part of the union because that's where the energy was in dealing with the colonial system. So we have evolved from that agitating kind of unionism to become structured politicians in government. But you cannot forget where you came from. George Price, Philip Golson, Lee Richardson, all these men were part of the GWU. So it's important that leaders, whether they're UDP or PUP, know and respect that unionism was the beginning of politics in the Caribbean. Unionism was how it all started. So don't disrespect the unions today, because the unions is how it all started.
100% right, Brother Nuri. I'm going to go ahead and listen to you off the air.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the call. Our number's here, 280-5848. We have just a short time left for our program. I wanted to talk a little bit about an initiative by one of our own Belizeans, Carol Genety, and she is a professor in Indianapolis, I believe is where she is. But she started a very innovative program, and I wanted to get her on air, and probably won't do it today. But Ms. Genety has started a school, a college actually, focusing on young, marginalized young people. And what she has done is that she has put together a curriculum that would be able to take these young people through their education process. Professor Genety is well respected where she is. As I said, she's in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I hope that we'll be able to get her on air to talk about this initiative. It is important to understand that this is a Belizean, a qualified Belizean, who has gone to the United States, saw the opportunity to expand, and she's actually starting a college in the United States in Indianapolis, Indiana. Welcome, caller.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, sir.
Good morning, Brother Nuri. How are you this morning?
I'm doing my best. It's a kind of a rough day, but it's good. It's good, you know. Sometimes it's stormy,
Here's
you know.
Here's what I want to add to the conversation, right?
All right.
You recall about a week ago, a minister of our present administration stood up and looked across the aisle at Representative Chang, who is a member of the Chinese Association.
Yes.
You recall what he spoke?
Well, remind us, please.
He spoke and pointed and asked for that representative to go back to the Chinese Association to help the government in lowering prices that were contributing to the high cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
You recall?
I recall, yes. I wanted you to remind.
Yes, powerful statement. And so I'm not calling to big up any politician. I'm calling to add to the conversation that very powerful truth that he spoke. So what I would like to see, I probably won't, is that issue of the cost of living be a part of the union's agitation today. Why? Because whatever raise they get, who benefits from that? Where do they take and spend that money? And the problem of the high cost of living increases, and those who are in charge of the food distribution in the country are ripping us off, getting richer and richer, no matter who wins the debate or ends up coming out the better at the negotiation table. At the end of the day, it's about money, and the money is finding its way not to helping us, strengthening us as a people, but it's going into the coffers of those who do not have the best interests of the country at heart, but are dedicated to their profit margins. That is my contribution. I really would love to see the union look beyond their dire need for their financial redress. I really would love to see them look and challenge and stand up for the entirety of the country concerning the high cost of living. That's impacting them as well, because every time they have to go into their pocket to address any lack in their classrooms, they have to go right to these merchants. That's my contribution, brother, this morning.
All right, sir. That's a valuable contribution. Thank you very much, sir. He's asking that the unions broaden their agenda from looking about just themselves and talk about the broader concerns of all Belizeans, which I think when you listen to Ms. Callis, when you listen to Mr. Flowers, indirectly that's what they're saying. They're saying even though these matters are affecting our union members, these are matters that is affecting the country in general. But it sounds as though what you're saying, caller, is that as that minister stood over and criticized Mr. Lee Mark, or really asked Mr. Lee Mark if he'd go back to the Chinese Association, you know, which I don't know how that would happen, but nonetheless, your point is clear that really the all the way out here to feel the pinch. Somebody was talking about why are we always talking about devaluation when our definition of devaluation continues to be the fact that we are pegged to the US dollar 2 for 1, and that as long as internationally there is no change of our monetary relation with the Americans 2 to 1, that we are not devalued, when in reality devaluation is based on how much can you get out of a dollar today compared to what you could get out of a dollar a year past, or 5 years past, or 10 years past. And that's how you see the value of the dollar. Can you get as much out of the dollar as you could have gotten out of the dollar some years ago? If you can't, then that dollar has been devalued because you cannot get as much products from that dollar as you used to be able to get before, regardless to the peg of 2 to 1. So we need to understand that this worldwide inflation that we're all dealing with, meaning that when you go in to buy a product, that product that you used to buy a year from now is 20 or 30% more than it was before. And it doesn't have anything to do with your peg of a US dollar to a Belize dollar. It has to do with this worldwide rise in the cost of goods and services. And these goods and services is affecting us here. So the way that we try to deal with that is to tell our population that we want to try to get more money in your hand. We want to try to raise the minimum wage so that instead of you trying to struggle with that $5, we want to try to raise it above that $5. Welcome, caller.
Good morning, Brother Nuri. Good morning to you. I am listening to you very carefully.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Devaluation. This is something that people have not yet been told what is the cost of a devaluation. Actually, it is diminishing your purchase power.
That's what it is.
In other words, when the dollar was devalued in 1950, it actually meant that people that were earning $5 a week, remember, I am talking about a week, only had a purchasing power of $3.40. So when the cost of living go up, the dollar diminishes in power. It's no longer a dollar. It's no longer worth that dollar that is pegged to the US. Being pegged to the US does not mean that you are salvaged and your dollar will remain. No, your dollar is actually depends on how much you can buy out of that dollar. And that is what is causing his belief unknown or misunderstood by even the intelligentsia and not realizing that. And that's where Chamber of Commerce comes in, Chinese community come in, that actually this is what is causing more poverty in Belize, the unseen poverty. People say, oh no, the poverty level gone down to 34, 32. Go in at the person's kitchen and you will see. And that's where Mr. Price was very keen. When I used to travel with him all over the country, the first thing he wanted is inspect at the kitchen. And he asked permission. Can I see what you are cooking? So we got a bit kind of, nervous. Why is he doing that? After we came out from that village, he said, you know what? I found that the poverty level in this country, in this village, Arenal was one of them, is very low. So you cannot say that because Belizeans are getting $5 or $6 an hour, that does not mean that everybody is getting the same. Because there is that big silent majority that is out there that people do not know how they are living. A person with 5, 6 children earning $40 a week at 5 days part, whatever, okay. That person's house is still empty. Still empty. They don't have sufficient clothing. They don't have a shoes. They don't have food, 3 good meals a day. They don't know what it is to even buy 1 little chocolate. That is the level of poverty that I would like to see the statistics department go into deeply. Not every casa living gone down by 0.75. That does not mean anything. And that's where I, old man Hector Silva, that come from the George Price era, believes that we have to take better care of our own rather than thinking about somebody else. Like what have you seen? Too much foreign interference by Belize. when actually we have to begin. So I am watching everything. I'm watching the teacher's strike. I'm watching what this one is saying. I'm watching those big contracts that are here being offered, 28 million or something like that. I am watching on that. But I am just analyzing what actually the country is going through and my belief in that unknown ahead of us. We have to be careful. Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you very much, Don Hector. Respect to you all the time, sir. That's a senior. That man goes way back to George Price days. And sometimes, you know, we might want to dismiss old people. When I get now in my 70s, I find young people like to dismiss you and say that, you know, the old talk. But there is a value for the future that we understand certain things about the past. And hearing Don Hector, and I'm saying Don Hector, but there are many other elders like him that sometimes they talk crazy, because sometimes even I talk crazy. But if you listen to persons who have been there and done that, there's a value in your future because you're able to learn that lesson from there. All right, this is our last call. Welcome, caller. Make it short. This is our last call.
Yes, sir. This is a 45-second call, sir.
Yeah, I'm holding
Dr. Mr. Don Hector. Dr. Don Hector, right? Yeah. When I'm American, but I went to Belize to go to school. And when I don't play soccer, semi-pro, I would go work in the citrus industry at Dole Food Products at Salada. And at that time, minimum wage was $2.35 an hour, sir. In 1989, 1990, I was making $2.35 an hour in Belize at the citrus company. I was working under Rodwell Ferguson. He was like our accountant, but I took her to the store. So I know what Mr. Don Hector is talking about. We came a long way when it comes to minimum wage and everything. I used to take home one blue note and a $5 bill every week, making about $400 a month. So, like I said, you guys came a long way when it comes to minimum wage, because I was there when I made $2.35 an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr.
All right. You went over 45 seconds, but that's all right. Thank you very much for calling. All right. Yeah, that's all the time that we have today. Before we go, I want you to know that tomorrow is a very special day for Muslims all over the world. It is the end of the Hajj period, the end of the pilgrimage. And that is happening in Mecca. And so here the Muslim community, including our Muslim brothers in the prison, will be celebrating the Eid of the end of Ramadan, the end of the Hajj. And so this is an announcement that at 8 o'clock tomorrow at the corner of Central American Boulevard and Farbers Road, there will be the Eid prayer, which takes place at the end of the Ramadan as well as at the end of the Hajj period. So as an announcement, because I know the announcement has not been made elsewhere, tomorrow 8 o'clock a.m. at the mosque, the masjid at the corner of Central American Boulevard and Farbers Road, there will be the Eid prayer, which begins around 8 o'clock. All right, so we've come to the end of our program this morning. We want to thank all those who called in. It was very, very, I'd say, robust when it comes to our calls this morning. We had the disturbing call from that disturbed individual who really needs to get some help, because obviously, you know, whatever she's going through is not being solved, because it's weeks now that she's been going through the same psychotic condition. And I'd appreciate that she does not call here and call names, because that puts Creme Radio XTV in a legal problem when you call and express your problems on air calling people's names. We can't afford for you to do that on this platform. But other than that, we had some very robust calls this morning looking at this issue of unionism and other issues that's affecting us today. So let's thank the people who are in the background. We had Larry Guerrero downstairs in the radio. Upstairs we had Alexi Bilaid as our MCO this morning, and of course Mr. Clifton Lewis. Belizeans, stand strong and stand firm and do the right thing. And for now, Assalamu alaikum.
Take a deep breath. You feel that energy coursing through your body? That's because of me. I am the rainforest. I produce the air you breathe. I make it rain. I'm also your pharmacy. I'm home to more plants and wildlife than you're ever going to see in your lifetime. I work hard day and night, taking in all the carbon dioxide you produce and turning it into life-giving oxygen. My personality is singular. My biodiversity is mind-blowing. My generosity knows no bounds. But then, so does your greed. I give you everything I have for free. I don't want thanks. I just want respect. I want you to stop acting like I'm just bush. I want you to stop treating me like dirt. I want you to see life, not lumber. I want you to always be able to come to me and find your roots, to unwind, and yes, to always be able to breathe deep. That's a privilege many will pay for, but it's not about money. It's about having a future.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.